We recently had the unfortunate incident of getting a flat tire on Christine's van. She was driving to pick up Jack from wrestling, and it was late at night, and it was dark, and it was raining. And when she was pulling into the school parking lot, she just missed seeing the curb, and she hit it just right that she popped the tire. So she wasn't even going fast, probably 10 miles an hour or less, and just caught it right where she popped the tire. So she called me, and we decided we were going to call a tow truck just to have it towed to our local tire shop that we use. Well, another parent, when I was on my way over to pick her up, another parent saw that she was, temporarily distressed there, and offered to change the tire for her, to put the spare tire on, so we could save the towing bill, which we are very grateful for the help of this Good Samaritan. So when I got there, he has already had everything out and was starting to jack up the car. The one thing I would suggest is, Christine and myself, we were not even aware of where the spare tire was on our van. We've never had to use it in the 7 years that we've had it. So for a Honda Odyssey, at least the one we have, a 2016, the spare tire is in between the front seats and the middle row seats in the floorboard there. So it's not at the back of the vehicle or underneath the vehicle like we're used to seeing with some of our other cars. Now, luckily, that spare tire was inflated, so that helped us out. So the first thing I would recommend that people have is a small air compressor that you can put in your car, just for situations like this. Like if you do want to change your tire and you find out you take your spare out and it's not inflated, but it's still a good tire because it's never been used, you would want to have a small air compressor. This is something that we used to carry in both our cars when we had more unreliable cars, I guess. It's something we've kind of gotten out of the habit of keeping in our car just for space, but I think it's something that we're going to add back in now. The other thing is, since we'd never used the jack in the 7 years that we've owned the vehicle, I'd recommend carrying a small can of WD-40 or some silicone spray in there just to help lubricate that, so it makes it easier to jack up. It would have made it a lot easier for our Good Samaritan if we just had something to help him crank through that jack a little bit easier. So it's something small that can make a difference for you. So some of the additional things that I recommend that you keep in your car is an umbrella. So like I said, it was raining. So luckily we still had an umbrella in our car. I pretty much keep the umbrella in my car year round. So we were able to at least hold an umbrella over the person who is changing our tire to keep him out of the rain, to make it a little bit better of an experience for him. The next thing I would recommend is a blanket. So it was cold out. It's in the winter. We had a car full of kids in the car. So we didn't want to run the car because we knew it was going to be a while. We didn't want the kids just sitting in the car. Now, luckily, we were at the school. The school is open, so the kids were able to go inside the school and wait until we were done having the tire fixed. But also, if you don't need the blanket to stay warm, that also helps if you need to get down on the ground, if it's dirty or muddy someplace or wet, to have something to place your knee on or your back on to help keep yourself dry. So a small blanket is nice to keep in your car. Jumper cables, same thing. This is something we used to always keep in our cars when we had more unreliable cars than we do now. But we had years ago a flat tire someplace. We decided to change the tire. Well, we had kept probably the lights on and the doors open and the radio going because we had kids in the car to entertain them. Well, by the time we got all done and said with changing that tire, we were happy to hit the road. When we went to turn the key, the car was dead, so we had to have a jump on top of that. So I do recommend carrying jumper cables in your car. And it's always good to have a flashlight. I know we have flashlights on our phones now. Sometimes it's just, you don't want to waste the battery on your phone to hold it up for a flashlight the whole time, especially if you might be in some place for an extended period of time. It's always important to conserve that phone battery to make sure that you can make the phone calls that you need. So it's just nice to have a separate dedicated flashlight that you can just keep in your glove box for emergencies. The other thing is, we were lucky we were in a parking lot when this happened, but if you get stranded on the side of the road, you really want something to let traffic know to kind of, hey, stay away. So it's nice if you have road flares in your car, or even you could just get some like a flashing hazard light that's battery operated. A lot of them are magnetic, and you just pop them on the back of your car just to show people like, hey, someone might be out here doing some maintenance on the vehicle to give you enough room around as they drive by. Another thing is you could always just buy like a small toolkit to keep in your car, or have a nice multi-function tool. Sometimes you never know, you just might need a pair of pliers or a wrench or a screwdriver, and it's just nice to have those things handy. So you don't, if it's something that's easy to fix that you can do yourself, but you find yourself without the tool to do it, it can always just create inconvenience for you. So the one multi-function tool that I prefer is the Leatherman, just because it is kind of a plier set, and it does have your set of screwdrivers on there and a nice sharp knife. So it's something I keep in my car. And a first aid kit. So hopefully you don't need the first aid kit because you're in an accident, but sometimes if you're repairing your vehicle, you might get a cut or a scrape doing that. So it's just nice to have something to clean that out and not worry about getting infected or have you bleeding all over the place as you're doing your work. So and work gloves. Throw in a cheap pair of work gloves. I buy these those rubber dip work gloves where the fingers and basically the palm is rubber. They're really cheap. They last forever, and it's nice. You just throw an extra pair. I mean, you can buy them at Home Depot or Lowe's, probably in a 10 or 12 pack, and just throw a pair in each of your vehicles, and you'll be happy. Because sometimes you just need a little extra grit if you're wrenching on something to get it to go, and it's just nice to have those on. So let me know in the comments if there's anything that you keep in your vehicles in case of emergency that I haven't listed here that we could all benefit from. So I hope you found these tips helpful. If you would like us to help you with your insurance, feel free to give us a call. Thanks, everyone.